If you're facing a foreclosure, it's because there was a lien placed on your property, and this video is for you. What's a lien, you ask? A lien is a creditor's claim against your real or personal property and is security for a debt. Basically, if an owner defaults, the lien gives the creditor the right to enforce a sale of their property to get their money back. Essentially, you're using your property as collateral to take on a loan of some type, and when the property sells, whoever took the lien out against you will get paid back what they're owed. With liens, there are two parties involved: the creditor, who we call the lienor, and the debtor, who we call the lienee. Now, the lien will not convey ownership of the property. It's more of just a right to a portion of the property's monetary value. However, there is one exception, and that's a mortgage lien. In title theory states, the mortgage transaction conveys legal title to the lender, who holds it until the mortgage is fully paid, and the borrower has what's called equitable title during that whole process. Now, these liens attach themselves to the property, not to the person. So if a property sells, the lien will continue on to the new buyer until it's paid. And properties can have more than one lien attached to them. As a buyer, it's important to know what liens are attached to a property you're considering buying. And it's why we do title searches before we buy anything. A property with multiple liens could be worth nothing if the total of all the liens together are more than what the property is actually worth. There's two types of liens in the lien game. You have voluntary liens, like if you wanted to borrow money against the property and chose to take it on, and there's involuntary liens, like when a legal proceeding decides that you owe some money regardless of what you want. Within involuntary liens, you have statutory and equitable liens. A statutory lien would be a real estate tax lien, and an equitable lien would be a contractor's lien for not completing payment on something you owed for services rendered. And liens like to consider themselves more badass than their competitors. These badass liens are called superior liens, and they sit at the top of the food chain and get paid before anyone else. These include real estate tax liens, special assessments, and inheritance tax liens. The not so badass liens are called junior liens, and they only get the scraps after the superior liens have eaten and are satisfied. This hierarchy is called lien priority, and it's determined first if they're a junior or superior lien, then by the date they were recorded. The superior liens are always going to be considered top dog over the junior liens, regardless of the date they were recorded. Here's an example of how lien priority works. A guy takes out a second mortgage on his property, and he doesn't make the payments, and he gets foreclosed on. He's got his original mortgage, a tax lien from unpaid taxes, his second mortgage, and a mechanics lien for work done the year before on the property. They're going to get paid back in this order. First, his real estate taxes, because duh, government, and then his first mortgage, and then the mechanics lien, because it became before the second mortgage was taken out, and then finally the second mortgage. This possesses a risk for the second mortgage lender because when it's all said and done, there could possibly not be enough proceeds from the sale to pay back that full amount. The nastiest of the liens are the real estate tax liens. They are superior, and we all know the government isn't messing around. They include ad valorem tax liens for your annual property tax, special assessment liens for local improvement projects that benefit your property, and federal and state inheritance tax liens. Their baby brothers are the junior tax liens, and these include federal income tax liens, state income tax liens, and corporation income tax liens. With the baby brothers come judgment liens, like when a court decides that you owe some money and you don't want to pay it back. In this case, the creditor you're trying to swindle will obtain a writ of execution and will force the sale of your property to get paid. And after that's all said and done, you'll get a satisfaction of judgment stating that it's been paid and the title will be cleared. You can even have utility liens placed against your property for not paying your utility bills, and mechanics liens for not paying contractors. The moral of the story is liens are all bad news. Pay your people, because if you don't, you're going to lose your property one way or another until you do. Be like the Lannisters and always pay your debts. Now, this is America, and you have the freedom of choice. And if you choose to not pay your people, that's on you. But you will get foreclosed on. Listen up, because I'm about to talk about that nasty 3-syllable word. If you found yourself in the unlucky position of being foreclosed on, you're one of the 1 in 200 homes each year that go through it, and it's going to come in one of 3 forms: a judicial foreclosure, a non-judicial, or a strict foreclosure. Judicial foreclosures occur in states that use a 2-party mortgage document that does not contain a power of sale provision. Without this provision, the lender must file a foreclosure suit with the court to enforce their lien. They'll give public notice with what's called a lis pendens to let everyone know the property will soon have a judgment against it, and this is when the sharks smell blood. Lis pendens allow everyone else with liens to join in on the suit and try and get paid. Next will come the writ of execution, and this authorizes someone like a sheriff to come and seize the property and sell it. They'll let everyone know that a public sale is coming up, and they'll auction off the property to the highest bidder. The new buyer's money is how all the lien holders get paid. And if there's any money left over, the old owner will get to keep that. If there isn't enough proceeds to pay off all the liens, a deficiency judgment can be filed, and they can try to come after other property you might own. A non-judicial foreclosure takes place in states where there is a power of sale provision written into the mortgage. And it works the same way as a judicial. However, it doesn't require filing a suit and doesn't need to be run through the courts. And a strict foreclosure is a court proceeding that just transfers the title directly to the lender. No need to sell and give them the cash. They just take the whole property and can do whatever they want with it. And in a similar lane is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. To avoid the cost and burden of court, the foreclosed on party can just transfer title directly to the lien holder and call it a day. Judicial, non-judicial, or strict, either way, they're all bad and end with the loss of your property. Some states have redemption periods where you can possibly get your property back if you're able to make the necessary payments, some during the foreclosure and some even after the sale. But either way, you want to avoid going into any form of foreclosure whenever possible. They're a lose-lose. Lenders typically lose on average of $50,000 on every foreclosure. And not to mention, one foreclosure can cost the local government up to $34,000 in direct costs involved. Hopefully you're not watching this because you're facing a foreclosure and you wanted to learn what the hell was going on. But if you are, please reach out. 60% of delinquent homeowners don't know that their lender has options to actually help them out. They feel embarrassed to call or think calling will expedite the foreclosure, but really, it's the first thing they should do. The second is to call me. My team works with all types of distressed properties, and we can help you navigate through your options. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and for more in-depth real estate info, check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.